Let's go Dolphins! What if I told you there's a player inside the Dolphins locker room right now who might completely change the dynamic of this defense, and nobody saw him coming? A name that wasn't called during the NFL draft. A guy who's already outperforming veterans in camp. This isn't just a feel-good underdog story. This is the kind of player that could end up making Chris Grier look worse than he already does. And let's be honest, Grier has been hanging onto his job by a thread for years. It's baffling he's still around. But while the front office continues to underdeliver, Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver are quietly cooking something on the field, and this surprise name is right in the middle of it. Now, before we go deeper into this mystery player who's turning heads and might just shake up the entire edge rusher room, make sure you hit that like button, but only if you've been riding with the Miami Dolphins through the highs and lows. If you've been a fan since the Marino days, I want to see you in the comments. Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds aqua and orange. Alright, here's what I'm hearing. So who is this Grayson Murphy, and why is everyone suddenly talking about him? According to ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques, Murphy has been making a statement in OTAs and mandatory minicamp, constantly flashing in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. Now let's be clear, these practices haven't been in pads yet, so it's more about athleticism, quickness, and bend. But guess what? Murphy is excelling. And it's not just ESPN. Local beat reporters like Barry Jackson, Omar Kelly, Daniel Oyefusi, and Travis Wingfield have all noted how Murphy keeps standing out. Murphy's journey hasn't been an easy one. After transferring from North Texas to UCLA, he went undrafted in 2024 and was picked up by the Dolphins. At the time, many NFL analysts saw that signing as a steal. He played just one preseason game against the Falcons on August 9th and looked promising, logging 28 snaps before an injury sidelined him for the entire year. Placed on injured reserve before the season even started, he never got a chance to wear the Dolphins uniform in regular season action. But now, he's back, healthy, and with something to prove. And let's talk about what makes Murphy such an intriguing player. At the Combine, he posted a relative athletic score, RAS, of 8.68, with a standout 4.63 40-yard dash, elite for his position. He's not the biggest edge rusher out there, but he's explosive and fast, capable of using speed moves to get around offensive tackles. His explosion metrics, broad and vertical jump, are top-notch. While he might not be overpowering with brute strength, he wins with technique, hand usage, and relentless effort. Now here's where it gets juicy. The edge rusher room in Miami is far from settled. We know Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and rookie Chop Robinson are locks, if healthy. But that's the key, if. Injuries have plagued that trio over the past 2 seasons. And after them, it's wide open. That's where Murphy sees his chance. While the safety room is packed with roster locks, the edge group only has those 3 guaranteed spots. That leaves 2, or maybe even just 1, spot up for grabs. And the competition? It's real. Quentin Bell and Mohamed Kamara are Murphy's main rivals. Bell, while a journeyman, logged 258 snaps last year and was somewhat productive. But get this, Kamara only played 26 snaps, and 17 of those were pass rush opportunities. Still, he managed 2 pressures and an absurd 23.1% win rate in that small sample size. That's insane. Kamara, a 5th-round pick in 2024, brings a fiery intensity and work ethic that the coaches love. Honestly, he's borderline a roster lock just off mentality and upside alone. That leaves it likely down to Bell versus Murphy for the final edge spot, assuming Miami keeps 5. And here's the thing, Bell might have the experience, but Murphy has the buzz. He's younger, has more untapped potential, and according to multiple reports, he's been better than Bell this offseason in non-contact drills. Training camp and preseason will decide everything. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. This edge battle could be the most entertaining one we've seen in a while. With Anthony Weaver bringing a fresh defensive philosophy and the Dolphins looking to build a deep rotation, Murphy's path isn't easy, but it's clear. If he continues performing like he has, especially once the pads come on, the coaches will have a tough decision to make. And if Bell and Kamara don't step it up, it might be Murphy wearing that Dolphins jersey on week 1. If you're still with me, then you know this story is far from over. Let's go even deeper into what makes this roster battle so compelling, not just from a football standpoint, but from what it means for the direction of the Miami Dolphins heading into this season. Grayson Murphy isn't just some camp body trying to make a name for himself. This is a guy who, despite being overlooked in the draft, has shown real upside, and that's not something you can ignore in a position group that's hanging on a thread when it comes to depth. And let's be real, Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are coming off serious injuries. Chubb tore his ACL, Phillips ruptured his Achilles. That's two of your top three edge rushers who might not even be at full strength by week 1. So if you're Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver, how confident can you truly be in your edge group holding up over a 17-game season plus playoffs? This isn't just about camp competition. This is about preparing for inevitable adversity. And that's where guys like Grayson Murphy become critical. He's not your typical UDFA either. When he came out of UCLA, analysts like Tom Downey gave him a 6th-round draft grade. That's not the type of player you normally find floating around undrafted. His athleticism, technique, and high motor all scream NFL-ready rotational guy. And if you plug him into the right system, say, a defense that values speed off the edge and creative pressure schemes, then you might just have something special. Sound familiar? That's exactly what Miami's defense under Weaver is shaping up to be. Now, if we look at Quentin Bell, he was serviceable last year, no doubt. But 258 snaps and only 5 total pressures? That's not the kind of production you hang your hat on. He played a role because the Dolphins needed bodies. He filled in. He didn't blow up games. He didn't change outcomes. He just played. But this year, the standards are different. Miami isn't just trying to survive the regular season. They're trying to make a Super Bowl run. And in a high-stakes year like this one, every roster spot matters. You can't afford to carry placeholders. You need guys who can contribute now and have upside for the future. And if we bring Mohamed Kamara back into the conversation, this is where things get spicy. Kamara has the draft capital, a 5th-round pick last year. He's got the mentality. Coaches love his fire. And in limited reps, he showed that he can win on the edge. But that 23.1% pass rush win rate in only 17 opportunities? That's both exciting and misleading. It's an elite number, but it came in a microscopic sample size. What happens when he's asked to play 30 snaps a game? Can he hold up? That's what Miami has to figure out in camp. Now, imagine this scenario. Grayson Murphy keeps flashing in preseason. Let's say he comes out in that first game and records a sack, a pressure, maybe even a forced fumble. Suddenly, you've got a UDFA who's not just making the team, he's pushing for meaningful reps, and with Miami's injury history, it's entirely possible he could be starting at some point this year. Think about that. A guy who didn't even hear his name called on draft day could end up being a critical piece of a Super Bowl caliber defense. And here's the harsh truth that nobody wants to say out loud, but we need to address it. If Chris Grier had done a better job in recent drafts, the Dolphins wouldn't be in this spot. This constant scrambling to find serviceable depth at critical positions is a direct result of Grier's inability to build a sustainable pipeline of young talent. How many draft picks over the past few years have actually panned out? Not enough. That's why undrafted guys like Murphy are even in this position to begin with. And yet, Grier still has a job. It's mind-blowing. But let's not lose focus. Training camp is almost here. The pads are about to come on. And this battle, Murphy versus Bell, Murphy versus Kamara, is going to be electric. I don't care what position group you normally watch. If you're a Dolphins fan, keep your eyes on those edge reps during preseason. Watch the explosiveness. Watch the get-off. Watch who wins consistently. That's what will decide this roster spot. And remember, there's more at stake than just one player making the team. This is about setting the tone for what kind of roster this Miami Dolphins team is going to field. Are we going to reward upside, youth, and hunger? Or are we sticking with safe, low-ceiling veterans who offer reliability but little else? So, now I'll throw it back to you. If you had to pick just one, Grayson Murphy, Quentin Bell, or Mohamed Kamara, to make that final edge spot on the 53-man roster, who are you rolling with? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you're at it, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and get ready. We've got training camp coverage, preseason breakdowns, and everything Miami Dolphins coming your way. Video on the screen right now. Don't miss it.